copy.
On a crisp Thursday afternoon, the usually busy Voortrekker Road in Parow was brought to a sudden, chilling standstill. What began as the usual hum of traffic and commerce quickly gave way to the shriek of sirens, the blur of blue lights, and the piercing tape lines of a fresh crime scene. Commuters paused, store owners stepped onto their sidewalks, and a wave of uncertainty rippled through the suburb. At the heart of it all lay the body of 55-year-old Andre Naude, a name known to some in whispers, to others in newspaper headlines, and to a select few in courtroom dockets that tell the story of South Africa's Underworld. In an ambush that investigators have already labeled as targeted, Naude was gunned down in broad daylight, sending a message louder than any press statement. Eyewitnesses described the hit as swift and brutal. A vehicle pulled up. Gunmen opened fire with chilling precision. The target was clear. Within seconds, the man once considered a power broker in Cape Town's shadow economy was lying motionless next to his double cab. His companions, 3 men ranging in age from 45 to 61, were caught in the chaos. One was wounded, the others reportedly escaped physical harm but were visibly shaken. Police, upon arrival, sealed off the area. Forensic teams worked under the gaze of a growing crowd. By sunset, the street was a ghost of its earlier self, riddled with unanswered questions, hushed speculations, and the residue of fear. Naude's murder was not just another statistic in a country grappling with high crime rates. It was a calculated removal of a key player in an ongoing saga of alleged underworld networks operating in and beyond the Western Cape. Though law enforcement has yet to confirm a motive, the timing, location, and method suggest this was not a random act of violence. To many observers, this was a professional job, one likely linked to Naude's long-standing legal troubles, business associations, and his alleged involvement in high-profile organized crime cases. His death echoes eerily of another, Mark Liffman, Naude's associate and alleged business partner, who was shot dead just 7 months ago in a similarly public setting, a shopping mall parking lot in George. Like Naude, Liffman had been facing murder charges connected to the 2017 assassination of Brian Weinstein, the so-called steroid king, whose murder sent shockwaves through both local and international law enforcement circles. Naude's demise now adds yet another chapter to what many describe as a power struggle playing out not in secret, but in plain view on the country streets. As the investigation unfolds, the South African Police Service has urged the public to come forward with any information. Yet, in an environment where fear and silence often walk hand in hand, few may be willing to speak. Weinstein's murder was particularly jarring, not only because of his criminal notoriety, but because he was killed in his home while asleep next to his partner and child. Prosecutors have alleged that Liffman, Naude, and Jerome Donkey Boyson, an alleged gang figure often linked to the Sexy Boys syndicate, orchestrated the killing to protect overlapping interests in Cape Town's nightclub security, economy, and illegal steroid trade. Naude's history suggests he operated at the crossroads of business and alleged criminal influence. He owned a private security firm and, according to public records, had mounting financial troubles. In 2019, the South African Revenue Service won a court order to seize goods from 3 of his homes, furniture, electronics, household items, because he allegedly owed over 10 million in unpaid taxes. At the time, agents from both the Asset Forfeiture Unit and SARS executed raids, carting away possessions as part of a broader investigation. Still, despite these legal pressures, Naude remained free, out on bail, attending court, and moving through Cape Town's elite circles. Naude's murder wasn't unforeseen. He had survived a previous assassination attempt in 2019 and had openly expressed concern for his safety in the years that followed. Still, he remained active in the same circles, attending court, showing up to trials, and appearing alongside figures like Boyson, who was seen at the scene of Naude's killing and reportedly said, "I am shocked." The two were often photographed together at high-profile legal proceedings, and their long-standing friendship was no secret. In a 2012 interview, Naude described Liffman as a very good friend and a very good person, adding that they had been close for a very, very long time. That closeness, however, seemed to extend beyond mere friendship, spilling over into allegations of criminal collaboration. Naude and Liffman had both been active players in the private security business, particularly in the lucrative and often contested space of nightclub security. This sector has long served as a flashpoint in Cape Town, where power, protection, and profit overlap in ways that have, over the years, drawn in both criminals and corporate clients. After Liffman's death in November 2024, two suspects, Johannes Jacobs and Gert Beswedenhout, both with links to the private security industry, were quickly arrested. The investigation into Liffman's killing reportedly explored whether he had been competing for contracts in another province, suggesting that the network these men operated in may have extended well beyond Cape Town and may have intersected with powerful interests in other regions. Now, with Naude's assassination, the stability of that network appears to be unraveling. His killing has sent fresh shockwaves through the city's criminal landscape, and anti-crime organizations like FACSA have warned of imminent shifts in leadership within the underworld. Such power vacuums rarely go unchallenged, and the fear now is that retaliation or infighting could spill onto the streets, putting innocent lives at risk. Naude's death, while tragic, may also serve as a grim milestone, a point at which the simmering tensions of Cape Town's organized crime networks begin boiling over in full view of the public. For law enforcement, the challenge is steep. With 5 of the accused in the Weinstein murder now dead, investigators must navigate a complex and increasingly hostile environment where information is hard-won, witnesses are at risk, and justice is constantly under threat. The anti-gang unit has taken charge of the investigation, but police have remained tight-lipped. Captain F.C. Van Wyck confirmed the involvement of specialized detectives, but offered no further detail beyond urging members of the public to come forward. His final moments appear to have been unguarded. Although Naude often traveled with protection, it's still unclear if any bodyguards were present on the day of the shooting. What is confirmed is that Jerome Donkey Boyson arrived at the scene after the fact, drawing both public attention and questions. Their decades-long friendship had been well documented, with the two men frequently photographed together in court or at high-profile events tied to alleged organized crime proceedings. Now, one lies dead, and the other may find himself in an increasingly vulnerable position. Authorities are urging the public to assist, urging those with any knowledge to contact Crime Stop or use the MySaps app anonymously. Behind the scenes, a manhunt is underway, but investigators have kept tight-lipped about leads. That silence, some experts warn, could be masking deeper tensions. According to the anti-crime watchdog FACSA, this shooting marks more than just another chapter in Cape Town's violent underbelly. It could signal an imminent shift in organized crime's leadership structures. Without Naude and Liffman, the alleged network they were part of could fragment, leading to potential power struggles, retaliations, or new alliances. In a city where the line between security and intimidation has often blurred, such shifts tend to spill over, sometimes violently. At the heart of this story lies a broader concern: how entrenched alleged organized crime has become in certain South African metros, particularly Cape Town. These cases, which drag on in court for years, involve webs of accusations, from money laundering and firearm violations to conspiracy and obstruction. Often, the accused have access to legal, firepower, private security, and well-established community influence. And when justice moves slowly, or not at all, the public's trust in the system erodes. If anything is clear in the haze surrounding Naude's assassination, it's this: whatever conflict lies beneath the surface of these killings is far from over. And as the city braces for what may come next, it is once again confronted with the sobering reality of a criminal web whose reach extends well beyond its crime scenes and into courtrooms, contracts, and corridors of power. As Andre Naude is laid to rest, his death leaves many questions unanswered. Who ordered the hit? Will it stall the Weinstein trial? And will this vacuum spark new violence, or an opportunity for the state to reassert control? For now, the city waits and watches. And in the absence of clear answers, the fear remains that this might not be the end, but the beginning of another dangerous reshuffling behind Cape Town's polished storefronts and tourist brochures.